strength of street knowledge.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? It is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Cafe de Paris, where I'm always serving you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. Hope everybody's doing good. And again, I know it's been a lot going on, but nevertheless, y'all, I've been doing really well with my business. And of course, you know, as always, business comes before pleasure. And I've really been having to dedicate, putting a lot of time into my business. As all of you know, I am a family violence intervention professional. And because of that, that's really been keeping me very, very busy. You'll be very surprised the demands in this type of business, in which people are constantly getting arrested for domestic violence situations, not just husbands and wives or boyfriends and girlfriends, but, you know, baby mama, baby daddy drama, mothers and daughters, fathers and sons, mothers and sons. You know, I mean, family domestic violence is not just domestic violence between husband and wives, and a lot of people assume that, but there's so many factors involved other than just a man and a woman, a husband and wife. Domestic violence is in so many different levels, you get what I'm saying? So I am consistently overwhelmed getting clients who have to take my classes because they're court ordered and court mandated to take those classes. So yeah, it's definitely very fulfilling, and I tell you, it is definitely the reason I've been able to successfully provide for my family, and I'm very grateful, and I thank God. And I think for this type of profession, you have to have the right attitude. You have to have the right gift and temperament, because you already got people coming into these classes already defiant, embarrassed, and in many cases they brought it upon themselves. But in some cases, you do have some victims that will abuse the law. But nevertheless, when we take on this type of profession, it's not about degrading the victims or speaking negative on victims. Is specifically holding the offender accountable to his or her actions, whether if it was intentionally or unintentionally. So the number one priority is making the victim's safety the number one concern. Nevertheless, it is a very rewarding profession, and I'm so glad that this door had opened for me, because it's really, really blessing me to really become an asset to other people in their lives, and to definitely give them a different outlook on things. But nevertheless, right, not to bore y'all with that, let's go ahead and get into what's the main issue at hand. So, you know, I'm always got these recipes, y'all, and this one pretty much really like stood out to me, and I want to share this with y'all, right? So this is another She's for the Streets episode, right? Husband catches his wife on cruise ship giving her number to another man at the bar. So as we can just tell by the title, this is definitely not a good situation. That's like a husband and a wife decided, you know, okay, let's go on a little cruise trip to get away, you know, from the problems at home. Maybe try to rekindle our marriage, you know, take some time to just get away from business, get away from the typical, you know, ups and downs of life, you know what I mean, the bills, the kids, and things of that nature, right? So this video actually went viral, okay? And it just goes to show you, it's not just women who have to put up with a lot of crap when it comes to marriages. You definitely have a lot of men out here, you know, that's dealing with a whole lot. And, you know, as the stating goes, just like you can't make a hoe a husband, you can't make a hoe a housewife, right? You know, apparently this guy is going to catch his wife in action, giving her phone number to a man. And of course, he is going to go all the way ham, righteously so. Anybody who catches their significant other stepping out, creeping, doing something inappropriate, it will definitely bring out a whole nother side in you. Has nothing to do with, well, if you're a man, you're supposed to be able to endure it and deal with it. That has nothing to do with it. Disrespect is disrespect. Whether you're receiving it as a wife or a husband, as a man or a woman, being violated is embarrassing, it's painful. And like I said, I'm in a class where I deal with men who express a lot of the things that they have had to go through in their marriage as well. So I'm gonna just go ahead and play that beautiful bean footage. I want y'all to see for yourself how he catches her in the act, right? So y'all, let's get into it. Let's go. Let me show my volume. It's up. All right, let's get it.
Oh, what? You won't! Yeah, you won't! Hey, I'm asking motherfucker always, but bitch, you won't always! You won't! You know what the fuck you did? Oh, let me get out there like that! You know what the fuck you did? You think because I'm on the other side, I see your goofy ass? Thirsty as hell! Thirsty as hell! Get the fuck out of here! Over thirsty! Bitch, your whole husband on this bitch with you. Get the fuck out of here. Calm down, baby. It ain't working bad.
All right, y'all. So I'm going to zoom it on in.
Yeah.
My apologies on that, but y'all. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get back to the main issue at hand, y'all. So as y'all can see, her husband spazzed out, righteously so. He had every reason to be upset and angry, and the fact that he didn't put his hands on her and he didn't put his hands on the dude, that's definitely, you know, that took some restraint and some strength, you know what I mean? I can only imagine how embarrassing this is. I mean, you got to think about it. If any of you have never been on a cruise, me and my husband been on our first cruise like a couple of years back. And let me tell you something. As big as that cruise ship is, you know, it's small at the same time, because eventually, after you done been on a boat for, I say, at least 3 days, you start running into some familiar faces. You pretty much start feeling claustrophobic. That's probably the reason why I probably won't go on a cruise anytime soon. I really didn't get a lot of pleasure out of it, but I recommend at least going once just to get a feel of it for yourself. But imagine, you know, you and your husband or you and your wife, y'all planning this cruise. Now keep in mind, cruises take at least a year in advance to plan, right? You got to put up money. You got to make monthly payments over a year, which is pretty a good deal, right? You pay $50, I'll say, monthly per person. And next thing you notice, after a year, you probably done paid up to, you know, your 800 or close to a grand, whatever the case is. But anyway, cruises take a lot of planning, all right? Okay. So, on that note, the last thing you need, you know, is to go on a cruise and find your significant other doing something foul. Like, I mean, for real, you know, it's already, you're miles away from home. You out in the middle of the ocean. And you know, you're supposed to be having that romantic time where it's just you and them, you know. Y'all supposed to be taking this time to be together. And when you know, catch your significant other on the cruise cheating and acting inappropriate, that can really dampen your whole trip. Now, mind you, basically, how he found out, I'm not sure if somebody brought it to his attention, if somebody called him, or so happened he noticed he couldn't find her anywhere, and, you know, he just so happened to do some rounds, you know, because these cruise ships, they do have bars, they got clubs, they got casinos. There's so much to do and get into on these cruise ships, right? And most importantly, you have a lot of not just married couples who are on these cruise ships, right? You have a lot of single people. Okay, you got single people that take these cruises because they're looking for someone. They're hoping like maybe they'll get lucky and find somebody that's single like them. And then you just have some people that just want to go just to have a good time. They're not really looking for nobody. So everybody got their own reasons, whatever the case may be. However, he caught his wife giving another guy her number at the bar on Carnival Cruise, y'all. And he snapped. Now, mind you, when he approached her, calling her thirsty, that really spoke volumes to me, because what is the signals that it sends to me, everyone, is that this is not the first time she crossed those boundaries, because most people would be confused, shocked, maybe quietly hurt, not immediately shouting things like "you're thirsty" and disrespectful. This kind of reaction screams build up, like this man has been simmering on past disrespect or shady behavior. The way he responded to her, to not go over the edge and completely crash out, this means he's been dealing with this, We're not going to act like it's only women, who deal with continuous disrespect. Listen, you got some women out here who are married women, okay? You got some married women out here who are straight garbage. Treat their husbands like leftovers, and you have some men, call them simps, call them, desperate, spineless, whatever you want to perceive a man. But you have some men out here who really, really honor their vows, who really, really honor marriage just as much as women do. And of course, when a man displays his love for a woman, it doesn't be perceived as something that's honorary. Especially when we're living in a world today in which now, thanks to social media, we have a lot of these red pill spaces who are constantly degrading men who show love to other women, who have admiration for their wives. And then when you see things like this gives these dudes brownie points of, see, that's what I'm saying, man. You can't be respecting these broads, you know what I mean? You can't be putting no ring on these hoes out here, you know what I'm saying? You got to be a high value man, you know what I mean? You got to make these women worship and praise you like you God, you know what I mean? So this is the reason why you can't be out here wifing them and giving them kids and giving them a life, you know what I'm saying? Because they'll take you for everything you got, you know what I mean? And then you stuck being, in a toxic or a miserable marriage because it's cheaper to keep her. You don't want her to get half of everything you worked hard on and hard for, you know what I'm saying? Then the next man, she move up in your house that you done paid for. He get to enjoy the fruits of your labor, you know what I mean? And this is a prime example why you have so many of these, red pill raging spaces that constantly attack men who value marriage and still have a desire for marriage. And this is a prime example. So anyway, right, getting back into the main thing, calling her thirsty isn't just about that one action. Let's be clear. That's a judgmental and shaming word. It sounds like he's already felt humiliated or insecure or played and disrespected in this marriage, and this situation confirmed it for him. Thirsty. Nah, you've been noticing he's been dealing with her flirty behavior, inappropriate messages, or emotional distance. It's already been some problems in the home front. For him to be kind of calm and just spaz out and not choke out dude right then and there. Nah, this man been allowing this woman to disrespect him. Always thirsty. In other words, she always in some dude's face. She's always giving another man more attention than her own husband. You'll be surprised. You got men out here pleading and begging their wives to just do right, just treat me right, just I'm willing to let go of what the past and what you said, what you did. I just want you to start being my wife. I just want you to start being loving, being appreciative, being respectful, not making me look like a simp out in these streets that have no control over his home front. You have some men out here that are very passive, and the bad part about it is that they get ridiculed for it. But if a woman's being passive and she's enduring everything a man does, they automatically want to perceive that, oh, she's a strong woman. She's strong. But the moment a man is willing to weather the storm and endure and fight for his marriage despite a woman who doesn't appear to take her vows seriously, he doesn't get, that type of energy in return. He's not considered as strong. He's considered as a simp, right? So let's also talk about some other things. Let's address some other things with this matter, right? She felt bold enough to do it in public. And let's face it, some of these dudes, they don't want to admit it, but they know they be wifing the hoe. They know it. They know it. But they think if I put a ring on it, you know what I'm saying, she'll eventually will see that I love her enough that I'm willing to marry her, that she'll, you know what I mean, abandon her thought ways, you know what I mean. You got some guys who know what they getting, and because she knows how to slob on that knob like corn in the cob, he'll overlook a lot of that. You got some of these females out here, they know how to work their manipulative feminine charm, and they know how to play games, they know how to deflect, they know how to manipulate men that are simple into thinking that I know I'm this kind of woman, but I can change and become a different type of woman for you. They know how to run this game, right? But let's get back to the point. She felt bold enough to do it on public, on a cruise with her husband nearby. Listen, these cruises aren't that big, right? I would not have the balls. Not only that, it just makes the whole trip just a damn, it makes it a wreck, like literally, the fact that she had the balls, that just goes to show you she's been disrespecting this man. Ain't no woman in her right mind that bold. If for the most part, women, let's say, I have to admit, women are better cheaters. So she's not going to put herself in a position where she's mixing up with some dude on the same cruise line. Noah, her and her husband are there together, and they're on this trip together. So for her to be this bold, y'all, she been doing this, okay? That's why she gave it no thought what she was, or that her husband was there. She done did this several times before, okay? Let's call it a spade a spade. That tell her she might not fear consequences, or she's emotionally disconnected from him enough not to even care. Like, she been thoughting it up on this dude. Or it could be he wants the marriage more than she does. Listen, you got some men who don't have a lot of confidence too. Low self-esteem is not just a black woman thing, or it's not just a single mom thing. You got some dudes out here with low self-esteem. I know one or two personally, who pretty much have allowed their wives to humiliate them publicly, embarrass them in front of their whole family, and yet, he's still, in love with her. He still does not want to leave her. You have some men out here who will take anything off another woman. Period, point blank. So low self-esteem is not just a woman's issues. You have some men out here who want to stay with women who belittle them and have disrespected them for several reasons. Maybe it's their ego. They don't want to look like they fail, like they can't keep a woman, or maybe that's the first woman they really had that ever really gave them attention. you know, and they feel like they may never get that kind of attention from nowhere else. Or some of it is just the fact that you got some women that really have, you know, that fire down there. You know what I mean? You got some women who got some fire. Then between those thighs, in between them legs, they got that fire. You know what I mean? They know how to put that dome game to work. You know, and if a man is not sexually experienced, or if he can easily be manipulated by those things, that's another reason some men condition themselves to being disrespected and mistreated, right? Either way, that level of boldness doesn't pop up out of nowhere. So, okay, we think about what could this situation be rooted in. Maybe there's past infidelity or emotional cheating, lack of boundaries in a relationship. She's probably done this before, or let's say he very well probably got caught. Could have been the other way around. She caught him. And maybe they made this agreement. Baby, I'm sorry. No, I did wrong. You know, I'll never mess up again. I shouldn't have never disrespected you. You know, I'm going to be a good husband. I'm not going to wild out, this, and that. And she plays the game and says, okay, I forgive you. You know, I'm going to move forward. Let's forget about it. And knowing she really hasn't gotten past it. Let's face it. It goes that way too, right? Could be some past infidelity on his end or on her end. Whereas that's the reason he's lashing out and calling her thirsty, because she has done this before. This ain't the first time he caught her inappropriately having conversation or entertaining another man's presence. You know, a marriage where one partner has checked out emotionally. Maybe she's only with him because he's a good provider. Let's face it. You have a lot of women out here, right, who are only married because the man is a phenomenal provider. But other than that, she's not in love with him, but she likes the stability that comes along with being in a marriage with him. She doesn't have to struggle or want for anything. You get what I'm saying? So you have some women who stay for that reason, knowing that they don't have to worry about struggling. They don't have to worry about like going without, right? So a lot of this could play a part into why she's possibly still with him, because she knows that he's a good provider. And let's face it, the good time guy, the guy that probably is really great as far as adventure, you know, getting up with him once in a while to smash or have some drinks or something like that. She knows there's really no real future in being with the side dude and being with Jody. So she will stay with her husband even though she's miserable, just so that she can continue to have that financial security, that financial safety net. You have a lot of women out here that are married and really do not love their husbands. They don't want to be with these jokers. It's the pressure of keeping that image together because they don't want their family to feel like they got problems, or you know, there's children involved. And most importantly, it's that financial security. Let's just face it, the way the economy is these days, women aren't going to, unless she is really remedial. She ain't too many women about to jump ship and leave their security for a broke boy. You know what I mean? For a pretty boy, unemployed Floyd, who may be great in bed and great to have 2-for-1 drinks at Chili's with, but at the same time, she's smart enough to know there's no real future. That the side dude is just a dude to have a good time with, but at the same time, it's at the expense of disrespecting her husband and basically disrespecting herself as a woman. Any man who tolerates this type of behavior, he puts himself in a mission where he could actually crash out. He could hurt this woman, you know what I mean? And I would rather he find some dignity and confidence in himself and leave this woman alone before he ends up hurting her. Because a man can only take but so much, and that's just being a human being. Anybody can only take but so much, right? Now let's get into his yelling in public, right? He may feel justified in the heat of the betrayal, but it doesn't solve anything. You know, sir, how long, I mean, you yelled, you screamed out, and you chewed out in front of everybody, but what are you going to do? Are you going to continue to stay in this marriage and be disrespected with a woman you claim that's thirsty? All they did was add public shame. It's going to make his trust with her even harder. It's going to make his healing harder. Not only that, it has escalated the damage. Damage of problems I'm sure they already have. Either way, he's going to have to make a decision. Obviously, needs aren't being met, such as respect. It was very, very disrespectful for her to even be talking to another man, giving another man your phone number on a cruise. This was her and her husband's time to be together. And the fact that she was this bold, she's been pulling this, you know, and it's very, very heartbreaking because you got women out here who want to be married, who want a man to take them nice places, you know, who want a man to make them feel appreciative and valuable. And look at how she repays him. So listen, I can only imagine how long that car ride is going to be. I can only imagine, you know what I mean? You got to realize, you got to, I mean, first of all, hopefully this ain't the first day of the damn cruise, and it's a 3 or 4 day cruise. This man gonna still be on the cruise with them the whole time. And let's be, even if it was the last day, it was still inappropriate. She was way, way, way out of pocket for this. But y'all, this is interesting. I mean, let me know what y'all think about this situation, y'all. I mean, do y'all think dude overreacted? Do y'all think dude had a right to go off, you know what I mean, and embarrass her in front of everybody? I mean, do you think this is the first time she's ever disrespected him? You know what I'm saying? Do you think that he's even going to leave after she pulled this? I mean, let's just face it. Unfortunately, sometimes a marriage, you can condition yourself to getting used to disrespect. And that's very dangerous. Anytime any man or any woman makes themselves conditioned to a person's disrespect, you are playing liability with your well-being and your mental health. So anyway, y'all, leave y'all comment below. Let me know what y'all think about this, and we'll talk about this later.